Hello and welcome to On the Move, a show about what's going on in Hampton Roads featuring community leaders who are moving the region forward. I'm Thomas Becker with Hampton Roads Transit, and today we welcome Greg Garrett, chair of the Future of Hampton Roads. That's an organization committed to fostering collaboration, innovation, and appreciation in our region. In his day job, he's the senior partner and CEO of Garrett Realty Partners with offices in Newport News, Williamsburg, and Virginia Beach. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Let's start by telling our viewers about your organization and the mission.
Well, it's, when you think about Hampton Roads, we really are tired of hearing about what we're not doing right.
Yeah.
We talk a lot amongst ourselves throughout the region in terms of what we've done wrong in the past. We talk about silos and different things that aren't working well, but the level of collaboration, the level of organizations, cities, counties working together, the kinds of things that are happening have never been better. And so what we want to do is to highlight the ways that cities and counties and medical care providers and transportation companies and how we're all doing a better job than ever working together. And we believe that if we highlight the kinds of things that are happening, the positive changes that are taking place, then we're going to encourage that, and we're going to see more and more things and more ways that we're going to work together and really come together as a region, like Charlotte has, like Raleigh has, and even Richmond has, even better than we have so far.
So there are a number of organizations that look at things holistically, right, from the region. What makes you stand out from your mission statement?
Well, you look at the Alliance, pure economic development. I'm involved with that. You look at the Workforce Development Council, pure workforce development. Merged like the Alliance used to be two alliances on the south side of the peninsula. The workforce development was two workforce developments on the south side of the peninsula. And so bringing these organizations together are good, but workforce development is pure workforce development. Alliance, economic development. When you think of chambers of commerce, there's still two. They work well together, and it's really about representing the business community legislatively and otherwise, and bringing us together. I think the chambers have done a good job at bringing us together. But we believe our job at Future of Hampton Roads is really to brag about what these other organizations are doing. The Business Roundtable, right? And just these other regional organizations are doing. When you look at these Bob Crum and the Planning District Commission, right? These organizations are doing great work, and they're working well together. And we just want to brag about it. We want to shout it to the rooftop and therefore encourage more and more, because as we see the positive effects of the types of ways we've come together as a region, we're going to increase that. And that's what we believe our niche is.
Who are some of your members, and how do those members help tell that story?
Oh, gosh. Ray White, who was the past chairman, Peter Shaw, Joel Rubin, Greg Lewis, Rick Rowland, Antipas Harris has just joined the board, as well as Charles Corprew with Innovate Hampton Roads. And so we're looking for probably another 2 or 3 board members as well. But we're really expanding the organization, expanding the leadership as we expand our mission to tell that story. Joel is our editor with what we call forward thinking, and that's something we're doing now 4 times a year, quarterly, to be able to tell those stories. And there are just multiple stories in each edition. And the other regional organizations are passing those out. They're giving them to their members, because everybody wants to tell the story and realizes the more we tell these positive stories, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah. One story at a time, right?
Right.
Now, your organization has 4 planks, right? To encourage collaboration, inspire communication, which you touched on, promote appreciation, and explore improvements. What are some ways you're addressing those issues?
Well, when you look at things like what happened with solving our biggest transportation problem, which is the high-rise bridge, kind of connecting Suffolk and Chesapeake, and the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. Think about that. Hampton Roads, right? Some people would call us a second-tier region, right? It's not New York, it's not Chicago, it's not Miami. So therefore, I guess that means we're second tier. We don't look at ourselves as second tier, right? But think about all these regions, LA, San Francisco, the biggest transportation solution happening in America, the most costly, biggest, is happening right here in Hampton Roads. Yeah. And when you consider that, it's not just happening here. We got tired of begging the state government and begging the federal government to solve our problems. We pulled up our big boy and big girl britches, and we said, we're going to come together, as I believe it was 14 or 17 of our cities and counties came together, and we decided unanimously we were going to tax ourselves, right? We got a bridge connecting Hampton and Newport News, and we got a bridge kind of sort of indirectly connecting Suffolk and Chesapeake. Well, all these other cities and counties, Williamsburg, Smithfield, Newport News, all these other cities and counties, Virginia Beach, right, came together and said, yes, we're going to tax ourselves, tax our people in a way that really has been pretty benign, and we're going to raise enough money to pay for 93% of the greatest solution, the biggest solution in America to solve our region's biggest problem, which was which is still the bottleneck between Hampton and Newport News through the 64 Bridge Tunnel and what was over in the high-rise bridge.
And a previous episode of On the Move talks about the tunnel project. We had a guest on explaining that. So if you haven't looked at it or seen it yet, check it out.
But the fact is we solved it ourselves, right? I mean, if 93% of the funding is local funding. And so that's a big deal. And when you think about that, I believe that's the beginning of other potential solutions. Why are we going to work on shoreline resiliency by ourselves as individual cities and counties? Why would we even think about continuing what we've done in the past, which is promoting our tourism and our tourist attractions in our cities and counties by ourselves? No, this is the beginning of, well, let's say the next step. This is the next step in what could happen through that taxing authority or through something similar to that. The philosophy in which that came about, we can work on tourism and say, let's promote the whole region as tourism. Let's promote the name recognition, as a whole region. There's all kinds of things that we can do, and we just want to highlight what's being done and then therefore promote other solutions of what can be done next.
So let's build on that. What are some of the exciting projects other than the bridge tunnel system that are going on right now that you think people need to know about?
Well, I mean, that certainly is the biggest, and I think that in a positive way is the nose under the camel's nose under the tent, right? I think in a positive way, in that we in a benign way, in a way that nobody complains about, the tax. We've done this. We've solved this biggest, $3.9 million transportation problem. And so I really think the next step would be something like tourism. Why can't we come together and put the tourism budget together? Shoreline resiliency, there's different ways we're working together, but nowhere near like we need to, right? I mean, do you think Poquoson with 3 stoplights is going to solve its shoreline resiliency problems? It's not going to happen. Yeah. We need to work together to do that. And, business attraction, right? That's really what the Alliance does. And the Alliance does get contributions from the cities and counties and Hampton Roads, but there are more ways that we can do bigger, better, more to really, to grow like Raleigh has grown, like Charlotte has grown, and some of Nashville has grown, right? We can do that.
And it sounds like you're having those conversations one at a time to kind of really point out these things and get some action done, right?
Right.
On that front, what are some of the challenges facing the region? There's a YouTube channel. He referred to Hampton Roads as the most confusing metro in the country.
Well, I think from the outside looking in, I can see how people would say that it's the most confusing. I was at a Zillow conference this week down in Charleston, and by the way, that's it's a lovely town, it's a lovely place. But I was at a Zillow conference, and it was some of the biggest Zillow brokers, which we are one, in the East Coast, but really east of the Mississippi. There were people there from Arkansas, New York, New Jersey, Miami, Nashville, Louisiana. And the chief economist of Zillow, now it referred to us as Virginia Beach, right? Because from out of town, people don't really know what Hampton Roads is, which is our biggest challenge, by the way. You were saying what's the biggest challenge? So, but he referred to Virginia Beach in referring to our region as the hottest residential real estate market with the lowest price. Looked at the combination of our prices being lower than Raleigh, Atlanta, Charlotte, Miami, Jacksonville. He looked at the region, Nashville, Boston, right? He looked at the entire eastern seaboard. She did, and she said that Virginia Beach is the lowest priced mega region or large regional area, and with the lowest prices of residential real estate. And so that's a business attraction piece. Yeah. We just got to get that information out there.
How does the Future of Hampton Roads organization help address those challenges? We talked about having those conversations. We talked about connecting. What are some other things you're doing to spread the good word?
Well, writing these stories. The other thing we're going to start doing later this year is having some meetings and some panels and other things to continue to create this dialogue of what can we do next and how can we work together more. But it's really when you talk to regional leaders, they are more and more, even though they're elected still by their own city or their own county, they're talking more regionally, they're thinking more regionally, and they're acting more regionally. And our job is just to brag about that, to put it out there, and to encourage it and compliment it.
A lot of it is like internal marketing. You need to have people internally in the region feel good about their area. So when they go out and travel, right, they're armed with all the facts and figures and fun stuff about
Correct.
Roads, right?
And so the other answer to your question about what are our internal problems or what are our biggest challenges, we don't believe in our future as much as we should. We really don't. We don't have an understanding of how powerful and how wonderful this region is. In terms of racial harmony, we've made huge strides. In terms of just the way people are accepted. I mean, somebody can come here, no matter what religion they are, no matter what, or no religion, no matter what race they are, no matter what gender they are, no matter what preference they have, they can come here and really, if they are willing to work and willing to be a contributor, within 3 or 4 years, they can be president of one of the Rotary clubs. Yeah. They can be, people are running for city council after being here 5 years. I mean, it's not like a place where, you have to be a third generation, a fifth generation to be somebody.
You can make an impact.
No, you can have a huge impact. And your leadership can be accepted, whether you're young or old or black or white or male or female. We're way beyond that. And so it's not that we're problem free, and it's not that there's perfect harmony. But when you compare us to other parts of the country, there's tremendous harmony. We get along, we like each other, we hang out with each other, we go fishing together, we go dancing together, we go socializing together. And we don't really understand how attractive that is, and how we kind of take some things like that for granted. We're nice. Right, we're the northernmost right-to-work state, which means that unions cannot force you to join a union to be able to get a job at an employer. In other words, you can work for an employer and join the union or not join the union, which is a good idea, as opposed to a union having control to where you have to join the union and pay union dues to get a job somewhere. That's a bad idea. That's what the Northeast does. We're the northernmost right-to-work state, but still we have the southern charm, the southern hospitality, without some of that old Southern prejudice that might still exist in other places.
That's well put. Just finally, what are some ways our viewers can know more about the organization, get involved, subscribe to that newsletter?
Yeah, just Google Future of Hampton Roads and just get involved. We're gonna anybody pretty much can join the organization, and then we look for people that want to be leaders and want to be contributors, both to write stories in the forward-thinking publication and to really participate in the future meetings that we're going to have and do things to just make this region bigger, better, and grow and thrive.
Wonderful. Thank you for being a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, Greg.
Glad to be here.
And thank you all for joining us on this episode of On the Move. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss out. See you again soon.